Sorry about the gremlins today, guys. I hope that everyone can find me. Let me just see if I'm absolutely in the right place. This is massive lag as well, so I don't know if this is a problem with the tech that I'm using, or whether it's a problem with just with Facebook Live. I have absolutely no idea. So I hope that you guys can see me okay. Can you see me okay? I've had to like swap around cameras and stuff like that. So anybody who is clicking along, really sorry about that, because of course like it's totally messed up with our flow. Douglas is very echoey. Very echoey. So let me just go and have a look at my cameras. That's it. Right, okay. Hopefully that has sorted out the problem with the echo. Is that okay? Is that okay? How's the echo? Is it better? Let me know if it's better. Okay, guys. Right. So, as I was saying, we have our leftover dough. So we've cut out all of our different pieces from here. Echo is gone. Good. And so now we can just like remold this basically. And I was a bit bummed that we had to kind of like wait because of course, because we put melted coconut oil into here, the longer we wait, the more it's gonna stop being so melted, and it's gonna mess around with our dough a little bit. But I'm glad that we're all back again. Yay! Justine is here as well. Okay, so now we can just fold this over, and again, just roll our dough out. Move these guys over a little bit. There we go. Give ourselves a bit of space. To about 3 mil, and then we can just add our cookie shapes to our baking tray. Now, as I mentioned earlier as well, but it's worth saying again, I don't do the little cutouts on here. Where is it? So what I'll do is I will take the little round and I'll put them all on here. So we've got space for another 4. Just pop another 4 here. There we go. There we go. And as Paul rightly says, the Vegan Chef School Facebook Live episode 117 part 3. Oh my gosh, that's pretty epic. It is pretty epic. Okay, so now we've got all of our round cookies. Now we want to cut out. It can be, you know, a heart, a round, a star like I've got, flower, whatever it is that you've got. But we want to do this just with half of them. So do that here, and of course what that means is we get these little things, these little very cute things. So either you can put these in with the other cookie dough that's left over, and you know, mix it all together and flatten it out and make more big cookies, or you can actually just cook little stars, which is pretty cute. So we'll do a few of those. So there we go. Now, if we leave it a bit too long between when we've rolled them out and when we cut into them with our little star cutter, sometimes they can break a little bit, these cookies. This one is just broken a little bit there. But you can just kind of like push them back together. There we go. Jess said, "Where's the freaking rainbow gone?" And Jessie says there's a lag from audio to video, but it's manageable. Colleen says, "I think mine are too thick. Going to re-roll them." To be honest, that's a bit of a choose your own adventure thing, Colleen. But I think what you have to think is that you're going to be doubling them up. So you know, if your cookie is already quite thick, and then you double it up, well then you're going to have one big cookie on your hands. But that might not be a massive problem. To be fair, you know, there are worse problems to have. And it just means that you'll need to cook them for a bit longer as well. So at 3 mil thick, around 3 mil thick. I cook mine for 10 minutes. There we go. Until they're golden brown. Until they're golden brown, essentially. I'll show you in a minute what they should look like when they come out of the oven. So if yours are thicker, then you might need to cook them for like 15 minutes, maybe a bit more than that. And you know, with cookies like this, if I see that some are browner than others, if they're cooking a bit quicker, you know, they might have been a bit thinner, you know, and quite often like the ones around the edge may cook quicker, then I'll take them out of the oven when I can see that they're done, and then just leave the remaining ones to cook for a bit longer. Okay, so there we go. See, one of mine did come apart a little bit, but I just pushed it together and it's absolutely fine. So now these need to go in the oven. So 180 degrees Celsius, 360 degrees Fahrenheit, gas mark 4. There we go. So we'll bring this over here. We can get rid of this too. So put them in the middle of the oven, not at the top, not at the bottom, right in the middle. And you will probably end up with like two trays of those. I'm not going to make all of them for you guys now because, of course, here's one I made earlier. It's like danger cooking today. They nearly end up on the floor. So I've got my tops here and my bottoms here. And of course, as you know, we've got our frozen raspberries. So here we have our frozen raspberries, and they've been defrosting just while we've been doing the show, which has turned into like a pretty epic show today. I think you'll agree. George said Rockin' Robin Rainbow was singing the I've Got the Horsham Internet Blues, but all better now. Yeah, it's been a bit like that today. Okay, so in here we've got our 100 grams of frozen raspberries. They're really, really nice and juicy, but I have got a fork here and I'm just going to mush them to the side. You can see, like, it's just breaking them down because we don't want any big bits of raspberry in here. We really want them to be as kind of juicy, you know, all the juices like to have been released from them, because, you know, if there's like, there are big bits of raspberry, which is very, very nice if you're making jam. I really, really like jam that has like big bits of berries in. Really, really lovely. But with something like this, we're putting them between two cookies. So we want to be able to spread it, basically. We don't want big lumps in it at all. So just using the back of a fork just to really, really mush them up. And then we're going to add a tablespoon of any type of syrup, just to stop them from being so sour. But if you like them that sour, then, you know, don't use the syrup. That's absolutely fine. So about 1 tablespoon in there. And mix this up. And this is just a really, really nice jam recipe as well. Really, really nice jam recipe. And then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of our chia seeds. Pop them in. And give them a mix. There we go. And then we'll set that to one side for about like half an hour, something like that. And of course I'm not going to make you wait half an hour. Here's one I made earlier. So this is thickened up really, really well. I'm going to bring this over to the camera. And that's what we're looking for. Okay, so one of the things that I do like about this recipe, you know, using raspberries with chia seeds, is that some people get really freaked out by the way the chia seeds look once they've been in liquid. I think the word frog spawn is quite often used, but when they're with raspberries, our brain just goes, well, they're raspberry seeds, you know, so we don't even think about they've got chia seeds in there at all. So I really, really love that combination. Now we do need it to be quite thick because if it was a bit more liquidy, then putting them into the cookies is just going to mean that eating them is really, really, really messy. So we do want it to thicken up nicely. So about half an hour should do it. But before we actually make up our cookies and put them together, I'm going to give them a little dusting of icing. Now, oh, Tanya asked, are they whole chia seeds? Yes, yes, they are. Yeah, we're just going to give them these a dusting of icing. So with Jammie Dodgers, the ones that you get in packets, obviously they don't have this on, and you don't have to do this, but this is just like an added thing that makes them look a bit prettier. I think it makes them look a bit Christmassy as well, actually. There we go. So we'll just give these a good dusting of icing. And the white and the red looks really, really pretty together. Ah, Matri is here. Matri said, good morning, just woke up in California. We'll catch up later on. Wow, Matri, it has been quite an eventful show. This is the third iteration. This is the third show. We've had a lot of gremlins in my house today. So, here we go. So we can just dust all of those. And you can make it as thick or as light as you want to. There we go. And it isn't an absolute must because they taste nice without the ice and sugar on top. But they just look a bit prettier. They do look a bit prettier. Okay, so now we can make up our Jammie Dodgers. I've got all of my bottom parts here. There we go. I'll get myself a good spoon. Now, whenever I'm doing something like this, I want to make sure that I don't add too much. And so one very good way of making sure that you don't add too much is to use a smaller spoon. I know that seems like really, really obvious, but it actually really, really massively helps me. Justine says, question, shop bought jam. Oh, sorry, she's answering, I think, Paul's question. It says, if no chia seeds, can I add extra maple syrup? No, you need chia seeds to help thicken everything, basically. So you could swap it out for something like raspberry jam. That's like a really, really simple swap. But yeah, you need the chia seeds to help thicken this. Okay, so just add a spoonful. There we go. And there we go on top. Now, with these cookies, once we add the jam, because the jam is very, very wet, it will make the cookies eventually go soft. But you've got probably like 24 hours or so to do that. So if you don't want to serve your cookies straight away, then keep the two lots separate. You know, keep your cookies separate from your jam and then make them up when you want to eat them. Or you could just make them all up immediately and then you have to eat them within 24 hours. Again, a good problem to have, right? Because you can't let them go to waste. Okay, so, oh, sorry, there's a question. How many minutes in the oven? Tanya, thank you so much for asking, for answering. 10 minutes for 3 mil thick or 15 minutes for a thicker biscuit. Now, I would definitely say, guys, with a recipe like this, where a couple of minutes in the oven, or, you know, if your oven isn't completely telling the truth when it says what temperature it's at, then it really, really can affect your cookies. So, you know, if you're going to make anything like this, or if you're going to make something like meringues, then I really do recommend that you get an oven thermometer. So my oven thermometer, I think it cost me something like £4, something like that. Got it a few years ago, but it is so useful because I hate to tell you this, but all ovens lie. All ovens lie. And they say that they're one temperature and they're not quite one temperature. So, you know, do bear that in mind. But also, you can just like see what the colour is, yeah? And that can guide you. So and that's the thing, like with a recipe like this, I always get nervous when people want to kind of like follow the time exactly. So use a time for baking, you know, the time that they say for baking as a guide, but also try and understand like what is it that you're looking for as well. So with these cookies, what we're looking for is we're looking for this golden brown colour, yeah? So use that as a guide as well as the time. Okay, nearly done here, guys. Here we go. Okay, so there you go. These are Jammie dodgers. Couldn't resist that one. Paul says it's a problem if you could quadruple batch. What, eating them within 24 hours? I think you're up to it, Paul. I have every faith in you. So Jessie says, please send me some in the post. I think they might be a bit soggy by the time they get to you. I'm sure you and Joss can cook up a batch. I'm sure you can. Right, okay. I'm just going to bring these over to the camera so you can see them a bit better. There we go. Really, really pretty. Very, very cute. Denise isn't here today, so I don't have anyone reminding me to do a taste test, but I will do a taste test anyway. Oh. Really good. Really good. I think I might need a napkin though. Tanya said they should be called broadband pushers. Patricia says, yeah, double the amount to fill up with jam. They're really nice. And just to say as well, I cook these so that they're quite crunchy because I think maybe you guys know from all the cookies that I show you how to make, I really prefer crunchy cookies where you can really like hear the sound of you chewing them. Right, in fact, everybody can hear the sound of you chewing them. But if you don't want them to be quite so crisp, then you can just reduce the amount of time you cook them, basically. Okay. Right. Thank you so much for being so patient with me today. I know it's been quite a show. Quite a show. I have to go away and see what happened with all our gremlins, our naughty gremlins today. Do let me know if you make this recipe. You can add pictures of the cookies you made to the community hub. Always really, really lovely to see them. Like I said, have a great day, and everybody else. That is my sentiments exactly. But I'm still eating. Really yummy. Really yummy. I hope you guys make these. Thank you so much. Next week we will be making not cookies. We can't just make cookies every week, guys. Thank you so much for joining in with me today. And as always, have a lovely day.